Welcome. We learned in the Mishnah a shomer that chooses to pay instead of swearing and being patur purchases the rights to any future payments that the ganav might make. Today we will begin discussing the Gemara's second kushya and teirutz concerning this Mishnah. There are 5 steps in this Gemara. The first is the kushya. Next is the first version of the teirutz. The Gemara then raises and answers a kushya concerning the first version of the teirutz. The Gemara then offers another version of the teirutz to the Gemara's main kushya. Finally, the Gemara raises and answers a she'elah concerning the nafka minot, the practical differences between these two she'elot. To better understand this sugya, we need a little background. There are 3 things we need to know. First is our timeline. There are 3 times we need to recognize. First is Sha'at Mesirah. This is the point in time when the mafkid gives over the pikadon to the nifkad. Last is Sha'at Geneva. This is the moment in time when the ganav steals the pikadon. If the pikadon is an animal, the animal may produce something of value such as wool or a calf, sometime between Sha'at Mesirah and Sha'at Geneva. We will call this Shat Giza Uleida. So, our 3 points on our timeline are Shat Mesirah, then Shat Giza Uleida, and finally Shat Geneva. The second need to know is as follows. As we have learned, all kinyanim need da'at and ma'aseh kinyan. We will now learn about 2 types of ma'aseh kinyan, though there are others. Please keep in mind that one does not need to perform more than one ma'aseh kinyan. The first ma'aseh kinyan that we need to know is kinyan mishicha. Mishicha means to pull. This kinyan occurs when the koneh, the buyer, takes the animal and leads it for a few amot. The second type of kinyan is kinyan chatzer. This means that the ma'aseh kinyan requirement can be satisfied if the object is contained within the property of the koneh, the buyer. Now, the third and final thing we need to learn is an important principle. Ein adam makneh davar shelo ba la'olam. Simply put, an item that does not exist cannot be sold. What is considered davar shelo ba la'olam? Well, according to the Chachamim, davar shelo ba la'olam is either something that has not come into existence at all, or something that exists but is not under the control of the makneh, the seller. Now our Gemara explains that Rabbi Meir does indeed agree with the principle Ein Adam Makner Davar Shelo Ba'olam. However, he applies it more narrowly than the Chachamim. According to Rabbi Meir, if we reasonably expect the object to come into existence and under the control of the makneh, the object is sellable immediately, even before it actually arrives. However, if we do not have an expectation that the object will exist and be in the control of the makneh, the object is unsellable. So Rabbi Meir agrees with the Chachamim about the rule, but he does not apply it to the same extent as the Chachamim. To better understand this machloket, let us explore the Gemara's nafka mina between the opinions of the Chachamim and Rabbi Meir. Let's look at an orchard that has not yet produced apples. According to the Chachamim, since the apples are neither in existence nor under the control of the makneh, the apples cannot be sold. However, Rabbi Meir would say, since we reasonably expect the apples to grow during the season, the apples can indeed be sold even before they exist. Remember though, both agree that in a situation where we do not have an expectation that the object will exist and be under the control of the makneh, the object may not be sold pursuant to the rule, Ein Adam Makneh Davar Shelo Ba La'olam. Now, whenever we have a halacha such as Ein Adam Makneh Davar Shelo Ba La'olam, we always have to ask, what is the reason for this halacha? Well, there are 2 shitot. According to the Nemuke Yosef, the The problem is that there is a chisaron, a lack of dat, meaning the parties can't possibly agree to sell something that doesn't exist or is unavailable. The opinion of Rav Chanan Wasserman, however, is that such a transaction cannot have a proper ma'aseh kinyan. He says, how can we perform a ma'aseh kinyan on something that is unavailable? So now, let's review. We have learned about 3 points in time. Shat Mesirah, when the mafkid gives the pikadon to the nifkad. Shat Geneva, when the ganav steals the pikadon. And in between, when the pikadon produces something of value, such as a wool, kid, or a calf. Shat Giza Uleida. We also learned of 2 ma'aseh kinyan. Mishicha, leading the animal, and kinyan chatzer, having the animal contained within the property of the koneh. We also learned the klal, ein adam makner davar shelo ba l'olam. The makner cannot sell an object unless it exists and is under the control of the makner. According to Rabbi Meir, however, this rule does not apply if the object is expected to eventually exist and come under the control of the makner. There are 2 opinions as to why we say ein adam makner davar shelo ba l'olam. According to the Nemuka Yosef, it is because there is an inadequate agreement between the parties, a lack of dat, and according to the Kovet Shiurim, it is because there is a lack of ma'aseh kinyan. Well, now that you know what you know, what difficulty will the Gemara have with our Mishnah? It was a pleasure learning with you today. Let's do it again soon.